Do we find out how many people are tuned in or no?
Yeah, it will say it on the top. Yeah, we're live now. We're live.
Yay!
We are live. So really, really excited by this one. We have Amit on here. Now, you guys all know Amit because he is helping people all the time. And ever since I started, long before I started on Zenler, Amit was very much on there. He's very prolific in producing videos. He is one of our power partner sellers, and he is expert level. So it's a real honor to have Amit on here, and he's going to tell you about kind of white glove experience. So he's going to be showing you, he's going to be talking a little bit about himself and what he does. So if you don't know Amit, and that's probably not the case because you probably do, but you probably don't know a lot about him. So because he's just answering questions absolutely free. So he's going to take you through this white glove experience where he's done a normal site, and he's going to show you this kind of like VIP experience, and of course talk a bit about him as well. So welcome, Amit. Happy to have you here.
Thank you so much, David. I can't believe it took so long for us to connect, right? Like we have chatted on Facebook Messenger and everything, but yeah, happy to be here. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. And yeah, like you said, I just love helping. So you reached out to me and said, hey, would you want to come on a day with New Zenler? I'm like, hell yeah, let's do this.
So all right, well, I'm gonna hand it over to you. Amit's got a presentation. He's very experienced at doing all this stuff, so I'm going to leave it to him. I'm going to come off camera. If you need me back in, just give me the shout when you finished, Amit, and I'll pop back up.
Okay, sounds good. Just let me know when you can see my screen.
Yep, it's there. All good.
All right. And I told David before we started, anyone who's watching this, I have a whopping 4 slides to show you, and then we are going to go right into kind of showing how you can give your students that white glove experience, right? But just to give you a little bit background about me, because David said I answer questions, but you might not know where I'm coming from. So started doing online courses in 2015. My wife was home. We had our first baby boy, Mason, and she was bored out of her mind because these kids, they sleep forever. So, and we were both in the hospitality industry back then. So she's like, what am I going to do at home? And I was like, why don't we create a course on how to become a hotel general manager? So I did my first course in 2015. I still remember I used to go to Dunkin' Donuts near my house because they had like a conference room, and I would go in there and record there because we didn't have a recording space. And launched it early 2016, launched it to a whopping number of 0 people. No one bought it. I thought if you build it, they will come. Not the case, but learned quite a bit along the way, right? So I've been in the online space for 6 years now, coming up in 7 years, and just feels like 200 years in dog years. Been here a long time. Also switched careers, right? So I was learning how to create online courses, and I was switching careers from the hospitality industry to the IT industry because I was always good with computers, with technology, learning softwares. It lent itself well to me. So I learned that and then made that switch. So with that, I discovered New Zenler, I think April or May of 2019. And yeah, so about May of 2019, I've been using it since then every single day. And that's how I'm able to answer all these questions, because I just have that experience of being inside the software every single day. And just a few people mentioning my name. I wanted, if you're new here, you don't know who the heck is Amit. You can see that, I sometimes people give me shout outs, which I love. And thank you for that. And with that, we're going to go into the demo. But before we get in there, just want to wish everyone happy holidays from my family. I know holidays are right around the corner. So in the new year, I'm sure all of us have new goals to achieve. So wish you the very best. And with that, before we get into the demo, David, any questions from your side before we get in?
No, all's good, Amit. Brilliant.
Awesome. Let's get in it. So today's topic is, how do you elevate your students' experience, right? How do you go from that out of the box New Zealand experience, which by the way is great right out of the box. But how do you elevate that? How do you take that to the next level so your students keep coming back for more? They have an amazing experience. They will go tell other people, and you will just keep making more money and have satisfied customers who will complete their course. So what I thought I'd do is create two of these courses. The first is what we're going to call the basic course, which is just standard out of the box experience everyone gets through New Zenler. So if we walk through that, here's what the basic course looks like. Every course, as you know, gets these 4 pages. So I have the course access page here. And if I preview this, I haven't done anything other than make a thumbnail using that Canva integration, which I love. David, thank you so much for that. So I have created the thumbnail. The school already has my brand colors, the header, but I haven't changed anything about this. So if I hit the start button here, the course starts and the students are taken to the curriculum area. Nothing new here. Everyone's familiar with the curriculum area, but my focus is this dashboard, right? The kind of like the landing page for your students. Now, if we go back to my course here, I also, what I did is I cloned this. So I hit this little ellipsis, hit the clone button, clone the course and called it, I am a white glove course. And what that means is I want to show how you can elevate that experience. Again, it's the same course, even the same curriculum. I haven't really changed anything, but here's the same page that you looked at, the dashboard page. You can even see in the URL, it says dashboard. Same thing here, it says dashboard. But I have made tiny little tweaks to elevate it. So the first thing I did is I got rid of this course curriculum piece, just deleted it. The review block, gone. And what I have done here is added a out of the box. These are 2 out of the box blocks that we have added. And all these buttons essentially go to different links. Now, the cool thing here is all of this is within New Zenler. Yeah, I've added some bells and whistles. Like I had a software that I added here so people can get in touch with me. And then I have a form software that I use for collecting questions. So we are going to get into the build of how I did this. But just to show you what each of this does is community, I'm redirecting people to my Facebook group, but you can also redirect them to communities in New Zenler because New Zenler has unlimited communities. David, this was an epiphany for me, the recurring webinars, which helps so much and has made my life easy. So now if someone clicks on weekly meeting, I am leveraging the built-in recurring webinar feature, kind of spruced up that page too. And what I did is I just created a blank page under site pages. So if you go to your site, go to pages, I just created this blank page called monthly hot seat. And then I just dropped the dynamic webinar block there, the recurring webinar list view block, and that's it. So it makes my students' life easier and they can find content so much easier than just having everything on that homepage and they're like, what the hell do I do here? Ask questions opens up a pop-up in New Zenler. You know, every page has its own pop-up. So if someone clicks help me, that opens a pop-up here. And all I've done here is embed a form that they can click and hit the submit button. And then course access, this was interesting. Here's what I did here. When you click the start button here on your curriculum, your URL changes. I literally just took that URL, went in here in the course access and just put that URL on that button. And that brings you to that same curriculum page that we saw earlier. So these are some small things you can do to elevate your students' experience, taking them from that basic out of the box stuff to kind of something that looks more classy. And if you're charging like a higher amount for your course, or even if you're not, right, this just gives a much cleaner look. And then you can customize this to your liking. So David, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clone this course again, the basic one, and show you how you can do this from scratch. Before I get there, any questions from your end, David?
I love the way that you're utilizing the pop-up. That's really good because, in any button within a page can activate the pop-up. So that's really good because you keep it out of sight, but if people need help, they can click it and then it just pops up. So I think that's a brilliant idea in there.
Yeah, I'm actually going to show you how I embed the form in there too. So let's do this. Let's clone this course, the basic course. Because I could just go and edit that one, but I want to show our viewers how easy it is to customize everything in New Zealand. And that's the power and beauty that I like, is you can customize literally everything. We'll call this VIP experience. I'm also going to put that in my URL here so you can easily change your URL and just update. Oops, that's taken. Here we go. So now this course is ready for me to customize. What I like to do at this point is go to pages. Of course, you can customize your sales page, checkout page. David will share my site in the end, which makes it easier for you to just use our templates. But what I want to do here is go to this course access page and show you how I did it, to kind of give you that secret sauce. And I personally am not good with design and aesthetics. So through the last couple of years, helping all the people in New Zenler group, and some of them became my clients, I have learned how people are shaping their dashboards, and that has given me some ideas. Now here, first thing I'm going to do, you can keep this if you want, the dynamic site header, but I just like to remove it and give them those buttons. I'm going to keep the progress bar here so they can see how their progress is. But again, the course curriculum, I'm going to save and preview this and then get rid of that course curriculum. I'm going to hit done here. Why I want to save and preview is I want that URL for that curriculum page. So I'm going to hit start, grab this URL, and now it's saved in my clipboard, so I can delete this. Same thing with the review block. If you don't want it, you can remove it. Some people obviously like to have that review block in there, which automatically pulls in reviews if your students have left a review for you, and you get to approve it before it goes in. I'll keep the footer here. Now, the amazing thing is all these amazing blocks are designed for you, so you don't have to put in the work. You don't have to put a design thinking cap on, because I don't have one. And thanks David and the Zenler team for doing that. So what I like to do is kind of go through these blocks, see which ones speak to me almost, and then put them in there. So for the title, I think we had used this block or something similar, right? So I can just put this in here. And this is to give you an example. We are trying to accomplish something like this. So thank you. And then this little piece of text here. Sorry for jumping screens. So this is like a icon. I can just change this. So if I just search for crown, boom, just change the icon, and same thing here. I can just put that same text that I copied. Thank you. And then the standard out of the box text is editable. You can click the settings button here, scroll down and change it to your brand fonts if you want. The other thing you can do is go into the editor preferences on top and apply your branding styles. What happens when you do that for applying the branding styles is Zenler will look at what you have set as your branding. So if I go back to site and branding, and they will look at these font pairings, and that's what will get applied to your page. So you don't have to remember which font is my brand font. So that one block is done. Now the next block, I think, was the features block. Let's just quickly take a look together. And David, while I'm checking this, wanted to check in with you if you have any questions for me.
No, it's all good. All good. Amit, it's brilliant.
Sweet. So out of that features block, I added this one, why choose us? And what I'm going to do here is delete this. And you can kind of play around with these icons. Some of these blocks have minimal customization. That's just the nature of the block, that you can't customize everything about it. Unless you are a CSS guru like David, He does ninja tricks. So check out his ninja tricks course on the tutorials.newzenler.com. David, I love that. So now I can actually go in and change everything about this, right? So I had here, let me just get rid of some of these tabs so I don't confuse myself. Community, weekly meeting, ask questions, and course access. So I can go here and create that stuff. And I'm not going to do all of this, but I just want to show you how easy it is. One thing I want to show you is that pop-up that David mentioned. You can see that my pop-up is on here. If I click on it, it's going to show me the out-of-the-box pop-up, which is easy to change. I can go into settings. I can choose a different design. And if I, let's say, click this one, the design changes just like that. Again, Zenler has put in the work, so you don't have to think, but you still have to put in some work to make that money. Now, what I'm going to do here is delete this block. I don't care about this because I'm using my own form tool. But if you don't have your own form tool, this out of the box works just fine. So let me grab the code for my form tool, which lives in Question Scout. So this was the form we looked at, the monthly hot seat. I'm going to get my embed code here. And David, I think we're recording this. So if I'm going too fast, I'm sure our listeners can go back and listen to it.
Yeah, they'll slow it down for you. That's for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's quite good. You see how quick Amit is actually just taking embed code. So like with embed code, that's what you get. So any apps that you're using, if you do have the opportunity to grab embed code, you can put it into Zenler. And that's important to know for sure.
I can actually show you how to do that for YouTube videos too. Excuse me. So if I go to, sorry, this just started playing, right? So if I go to this one that I had built for New Zenler, I can hit the share button, get the embed code, copy it. And then if we go back to my editor, all I need to do is go into elements, go to custom HTML, just drag and drop it here. Now I can add whatever code I want in here, that as long as it's an HTML code. So if we add that YouTube code, just like that, the video shows up. Now you might sometimes see a different behavior, which I want to show you real quick. If I go in and change this code, right, and put that form embed code in here. So it was this one. You will notice that sometimes it just shows you a blank line. That's completely fine. What's going to happen is when you go into preview, that will show the form. So to look at that, what we're going to do is go to this button. I'm going to pretend that this button is like my Q&A button that we had. Go into the settings and say, upon click, open the pop-up. That's it. So we have built this VIP dashboard within 15, 20 minutes, not even, by using the drag and drop blocks that New Zenler has. I was able to embed some HTML stuff in here. Now let's take a look at what the student site is going to, what the students are going to see. So here we had added that pop-up. So if I click this button, here's that pop-up, and you can see now my form is showing, where earlier in the editor, it wasn't showing. So that's kind of like the trick. If you don't see that HTML element show right away, just go in the preview mode, and then you'll be able to see it. So I think that was it. I did have one more thing, David, is to show a different kind of, let me just go in my third school, because I also wanted to show the viewers what else can you do. So I have a different course here. And if I go to pages, same thing, I have customized the dashboard here. And this just gives you an idea of there are different ways to do it. It's just limited to your imagination. So if I go to the home here, every time a student logs into this school, they go to this kind of dashboard, which has different call to actions. These are just images I created in Canva. And then I put them in boxes with like a 2x2 layout, like 50-50 layout, and just added links to them to go to different places. So this is another way to do it. I'm leveraging like the animation feature here to show this button blinking. So that's, again, we play around with all the elements if you have the time, and then you can literally do anything you can imagine. And if you want inspiration, I think there is a way to search on Google. So if you just search on Google for like site New Zenler or something like that, it'll show you all the sites that are built on New Zenler. And then you can look at all the different sites that are built on New Zenler. I forgot what that search, like how to exactly do it.
Site colon, and then just put, you can put newzenler.com or star.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this will show you all the different sites that are built on New Zenler. If I find that exact query, I'll add it to this, David, to our comment section. But that's how you can get some, I don't want to call it stealing, but get some inspiration. So you can build your school, because sometimes it's hard for people to envision what that looks like.
Yeah, for sure. But also remember that if people have changed their site name to the custom domain, then you're not going to see their sites.
Yeah.
So lots of the pro and premium users have got their own sites in there. And if they've made that primary, it's not going to come across. But we have Wow Wednesdays. You know, you've probably seen Amit's put some stuff on Wow Wednesdays before. So you can go through and see some of the sites there. But really good. Amit, have you got anything else to show, or can I?
I had a few more things if we have time.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
I wanted to showcase the power of New Zenler's editor. So what I was thinking is, while we are here, I have a course here, and also this kind of shows different ways you can use New Zenler. So I wanted to show some pages that we have built on New Zenler to give you an idea of what can you do with this editor, because I get that a lot. People are like, well, the editor looks pretty basic. No, it's limited to your imagination. So we have set this up as a course, but the course literally is just pages and pages of things that we have built on New Zenler. And I just want to show like live previews so you know that anything is possible on New Zenler. This page is built entirely on New Zenler. Some of these blocks are even out of the box. Like this block is, I think, a feature or a content block. We haven't even touched it. And you can see how premium you can make your sales page look just by having that. And which I don't have. I don't have the design sense. So I partnered with Ian Hamilton on this, but he has the idea, and New Zenler gives us the tools to bring those ideas to life. So here's another, oops, wrong button. Here's another one. And same thing with the dashboards. You can, just build whatever you can dream of. So these are just some sites I wanted to show as examples, because I get that a lot. People are like, I don't think that's possible. They must be using like WordPress or something. No, people can build amazing sites on New Zenler without WordPress. And the best part is, David, this has zero coding, no HTML, out of the box blocks that we have customized, or we've just used like the row functionality and just added our own blocks.
Yeah, it shows you, and that's something definitely worth talking about, Amit, because I know, like me, you've used a lot of the other platforms. And would you say that Zenler is the most flexible design-wise?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
I have, like, I've used Kartra, which is just complex. Zenler to me is simple to understand, but I've been using it for 2+ years. So I can see sometimes newcomers might be overwhelmed, and I think that's where your course comes in, where they can go learn everything from scratch.
Yeah, it's starting simple before. I mean, this is the biggest thing. People say, have I got to be a designer? Well, like Amit's just admitted there that he's just seen lots of sites, and he's just taken that on board and maybe changed it slightly to make it his own thing, and tied up with someone like Ian Hamilton, who's a branding expert. And quite quickly, you can put this stuff together. And, Amit's got a whole template site. He's got hundreds. I don't. How many templates have you got, Amit? It
I
seems
think we are like 65 plus. So this is the
right. Okay.
so
So
this is the template thing, right? These premium templates are Ian's, and then we have like all these bonus templates. So yeah, we are close to about 65. We have to add new ones like starting next month, like starting January, we're going to start adding to meet what you said is hundreds of templates.
yeah, so that's another thing that's amazing. Like, think that businesses that come out of the back of or off the side of what we're doing at Zenler, creating this platform. So then people, entrepreneurs like Amit are saying, right, okay, I'm part of the partner program. I'm selling the platform and I'm promoting it for you. But also I'm going to do all these templates because people can just put them into the platform. So you get all these little side businesses coming off of, which is lovely because you're promoting us and bringing people in. They're happy because they've got your templates. So it becomes a really nice thing that's going on, and obviously you're not just selling, you're helping the group as well. So which is very admirable for sure.
And David, that has been one of my asks is one day I want to be able to export pages. So I know Zenler is working on that. So that would be really awesome. So people can literally just take a URL, plop it into their school, and they get this template right away. What I do want to touch on, David, you mentioned like the affiliate program, right? It's amazing. Like it has been amazing for me and my family. So anyone out there looking to promote, I don't promote products that I don't believe in. And I have actually never done affiliate marketing before New Zenler. I used to think that's kind of like a sleazy thing to do, but done right, it can benefit you and benefit users, and New Zenler pays you so well for doing it. Some of the tips, and David, you and I talked about this before we started. You were saying if I want to share the secret sauce, which it's really no secret, it's just helping people like I do in whatever niche you're in. You like a product that you use, promote it and help people instead of just dropping your affiliate link, and then create content around it that'll help others. Because David, I get messages like every week. I watch your videos on YouTube, they're so helpful. And that means people are out there watching. You just have to go out there yourself and create the content.
Yeah, and that's the hard bit.
Yes.
I was talking to Amit before, and if you've looked around all the stuff that he does, you'll know that he's a very, very busy guy. I'm pretty prolific at videos, and I think Amit's up there with me at producing videos. He's got stuff coming out all the time. So that's what you need to do. That level of commitment gets you to where you need to be. So it's like Amit doesn't mind sharing things because he's like, well, most people will fail before they get to the commitment that he's showing to it. So it just shows you, like, if you put a lot of time and energy into something, you do get something back. But I guess, the philosophy here is that if you're nice and helpful on a group, then business sort of comes to you anyway. And that's it. That's how it's worked for me. I always give people share tips. And I know a lot of people that say, oh, why are you telling them all those things? They'll be able to do your job. Well, I turn around and say, well, okay, but I'll just learn something else.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll just learn the next thing.
Yep. Yeah. And that's the key, David, is just, you don't have to know everything. I don't know everything about New Zenler. Sometimes there are questions I just don't answer because I'm like, I don't know how to do that. But you just have to know more than the other person, and then you are the expert, right? You don't have to absolutely know everything in your niche. When I first started, I had the same imposter syndrome, like, who am I to teach someone how to become a hotel general manager, right? When I made the switch to a different career, I was kind of faking it till I made it. I'm like sitting in meetings, I'm like, shit, like I don't know anything they're talking about. But then 6 months later, I knew everything they were talking about because I would go home and Google. I'm like, what did you talk about this word? Like, I don't know what that means. So it's, to some, it's easier, to some, it's not. It's just put yourself out there. I think that's the message I'm trying to give, is put yourself out there, use the flexibility of New Zenler. A side note or a shameless plug, if you don't have the time, hire my team, but just get out there and, people will come if you put in the effort, but that's the hard bit. Like David said, is no one's going to do it. I can tell you everything I do to make money. I don't think anyone has the time to do it. I don't have the time to do it.
No, you just try a bit. I always think, like, a lot of people are busy, and that's probably the biggest thing, because they're doing something else and they're trying to fit this in. They know where they want to get with the projects that they're doing, but it's kind of like they're just leaving it a bit. And I found the easiest way, if that happens to you, is to allocate a certain amount of time. It has to be over a quarter of an hour, but commit to that time. So if you go to bed at 10 o'clock at night, go to bed at 10:15, do that bit before, or 10:30 ideally. And slowly you'll get there. And the other thing is, like, people coming on, or you're watching videos, these can motivate you to do more. And ask questions. It doesn't matter how silly the question is.
Yeah.
You should ask questions, because, like Amit says, we don't know it all. There's always something else you learn, or there's a difference you think you know, and then someone tells you something slightly different. You go, actually, that's better. That'll save me hours. Just some little tip can give you.
Oh yeah.
It's quite good. I mean, that's the exciting. And the other thing, you have fun with it though, don't you, Amit? Do you enjoy what you do?
Oh yes. This is way better than my full-time job, David. Like, in my full-time job, I just started a new job. Hopefully they're not watching this, but it's a higher level position with more money, but it's a corporate job, and it's just, I'm not cut out for it. Like, I tell my wife all the time, like, I need to set myself a deadline and just quit by that time, because this is what I enjoy doing. Like, it gives me joy to do this.
And it's the flexibility of it, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like you just,
you can go surfing before a call.
I was supposed to tell him. Oh no, that's brilliant. So have you got anything else to say, Amit, while you're here?
No, I think that was it, David. If you have any other questions for me, I'm happy to answer. I am happy to see the evolution of New Zenler, because I was there in the beginning when it first started. So definitely come a long way. I know you're putting time and money into updating, like, the editor and stuff, so I'm excited for that. But yeah, I'm just glad to see the team making forward progress.
Yeah, and of course the paid lives as well, and the live straight into the courses. That's going to be a game changer for sort of people that are doing one-to-one sessions and those sort of things. And like all these things, I guess you'll start to incorporate some of those things into what you're doing as well. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and community, hopefully.
Yeah. There's a lot of things. All
right.
But I'm going to end this. I'm just going to show you Amit's template site. So guys, if you are interested in Amit's does this, he's doing this live with us, absolutely free of charge. And so I'm just going to show his template site, which is really good. And as Amit said, he's worked a little bit with Ian Hamilton on stuff as well. So it's very well designed. This whole site that you're looking at now is, which I will put into the chat, is done on Zenler. And that's what I like about Amit. Whenever he's showing you something, he's done everything in Zenler. He knows about things like Pabbly, so connecting stuff up, but he does all the stuff in the platform itself. So a very nice looking site. And as he said earlier, it's all done 100% in Zenler, and you've got all of these different templates to choose from as well. So again, a business has come out of Zenler from this. We are bringing out these page templates and things and shareables. So, but there's always opportunities, and you've just got to find those opportunities and make the most of them. We've done a few templates for free on our tutorials.newzenler site, but there's not many. If you look at these, they're fully fledged designs that you're allowed to use. So I'm guessing all the images are all bought and things like that.
Yep.
So,
and really, it says annual membership, but we have actually changed it to a one-time fee. I just haven't updated the site. So it's just one time, $147. You get access to all existing and new ones that we keep coming out with.
Fabulous. I'll put that in the chat. Thank you so much, Amit, for coming on. As I was saying before, I've been trying to get Amit on one of our lives for ages. And what was really nice was Amit was actually doing a little bit of a tutorial there. So it saves me going in and out of the site and stuff, and I can get a different slide. It's always lovely to watch different instructors. You know, you're probably watching some of my videos, how I work, slightly different to how you work. And it's quite good because you can learn from each other. That's what I love. And I love it when, you know, some of our instructors come on with us because it's great.
Yep. One thing I would add, David, is of the different platforms that I have tried, the community is the biggest thing. And I think you would agree that our community is just, it's mind blowing, right? Everyone's diving into hell. No one's link dropping. No one's trying to show one another up. Everyone is just trying to help, which is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is, sometimes it's very hard, isn't it? I mean, your partners, you try and get business because that's what you do, and sometimes accidentally links go in there and things, and you know, but if you know, then it's nothing's done maliciously on the site. And people help each other as well. And yeah, the community, our community is amazing. I've got a jewelry, I do jewelry design,
Yep.
and I've got a group in there, and they're also really good. So it's nice, but I've got another group that's a little bit more aggressive to each other, and I have to keep telling them all off all the time, you know.
Yeah.
I'll chuck them out.
I think I remember your jewelry thing. Was it Mojo or something? Mojo Designs?
Yeah, that's it. Mojo.design. Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, it's and I'm launching new things, but like, you know, like Amit, I'm doing everything in Zenler now. Come from like the website design background, and I've still got a WordPress site, but I'm bringing it all across to Zenler in the end. It's just a lot of work to bring it across because the site's been up for years. But yeah, it's all going that way. We're just getting more and more features, and yeah, thank you, Amit.
Thank you so much, David, and we'll stay in touch.
Yeah, maybe
Happy holidays.
Yeah, maybe we can get you to come back on in the new year.
Anytime.
Yeah, so I wish your family all the best for Christmas and New Year as well, Amit. Yeah.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Lovely.
Bye.
See you later. So that was Amit there. Brilliant, because he was actually showing you live how he does things, and you saw that white glove experience. I think that's it's really good. You know, that's the thing. When you see those sort of things, it gives me ideas. I'm straight away thinking, oh, there could be a tutorial on that. So maybe I'll do a tutorial and just touch on some of those points. I might try and work with Amit a little bit with that to try and make it a little bit special, try and think out the box with this sort of stuff. So yeah, I knew you guys would love that. There's a lot of people following. Probably all the people are drop off now because it's just me. So let's carry on. So we were going to have Judy come on, but she's unfortunately she's ill, so she can't make it on. So we have at 4 o'clock, we've got Carol coming on, and she's going to talk about how you can help posture and these sort of things to avoid any kind of injury and eye strain when you're sitting at your computer and just looking at it all day. I've got a few things that I do. I try to not have these massive long sessions. I try and get up and walk around a lot, or I go out, as Amit touched on earlier. Between that 2 hours, I managed to get out for a surf session and get back. It was a bit of a rush, but I managed to get back in time. So these sort of things, if you break your day up, you don't get affected. If I was to sit on here doing this live for like 6 hours non-stop, not leave the computer, it would be very bad for my health. So she's going to talk about all of those things. So Carol's coming on at 4. I'm going to have a little break now, and then we're just going to go on. Put your questions down in the chat, even if they're things that Amit have asked, because I'm sure Amit will go on there and he'll jump in and answer some of those questions if he's around. And if not, I will try and answer them, because I pretty much know what he's what he's done there with the site. So if you've got any questions based on that, make sure you put them in there. So I'm going to just have a little break for about 15 minutes, and then we're going to come back and I'll see if there's any questions to answer. And if there's not, I think we'll just go and just have a little play in the demo site, maybe show you a little bit more about automations and those sort of things, or anything that you want. So this is your chance, guys, to, like, if you've got a problem with the site, ask a question. I can show you live. You know, it's the day with Zenler. This is the last one of the year. This is the second session, and that's it. And then we do it in the end of January. So there's a big gap. So I see Marcy's put something down there. That'd be a great program for my corporate wellness consultation business, Carol's program. Yeah. So yeah, make sure you stay around to see that or catch the replay, guys. So I will now have a little break. I'll be back in about 10 minutes where we will then get on with, or I'll answer questions, and we'll just get on looking in the site and show you more of those blocks and automations, and probably a good idea to go through some of the new features that have just been added on the platform. So any questions, put them in the chat, and when I get back, I can answer them all for you. So I shall see you very soon. I'm going to Oh, sorry, guys. I didn't have my mic on. Technical. Right. Okay. So, Sylvia, sorry, we don't do videos on external apps such as Pabbly and Thrivecart. But as I was saying, Amit knows quite a bit about Pabbly and Thrivecart, and so does Kevin Arrow. He's one of the lead support educators here at Zenler. So you know Kevin, you must know Kevin. So he does that. So maybe reach out to him. I'm sure there's videos in Thrivecart itself, and probably you could reach out to Pabbly. As far as the connection into Zenler, you could use Zenler's API, but Kevin would know about that. So I haven't produced them. We have produced videos on Zapier because it's like one of our integrations into our platform. And I think I've done one on MailChimp as well. And I need to do a few more. And I've done, yeah, if you look in a complete guide to Zenler, you'll see I've done integrations on Mooseend, all of our integrations. But I wouldn't be covering things like Pabbly because it's not in our integrations area, and nor is Thrivecart. So if it does, I will, but it hasn't, so I won't, because I've got enough to do really with all this stuff. So there was a question above from Sharon, and she was asking about connecting to our new Zenler courses, and I can see that Kyla has answered that as well. And I was also talking about John Orion. He's at Uki West, and he might use one of the techniques that Amit was showing. And I also mentioned at the same time that our tutorials.newzenler.com site is a kind of VIP experience. It's like you have these zones that you go into. So by going into those zones, it kind of like we've taken, to do that, we've actually taken away the public registration into the site. So the only people that get into the login side, logged in users, are users of the platform. And this is something I do quite a lot. I do it with my own sites. Why do I turn off the normal registration? Like if I go to like one of the demo sites or something, you get this sign in, and you can sign in using the register page. What I do is I take on the register page, I actually delete out the register form so they can't register for the site. And I put in there a link, and then I send them directly to the course. Why do I do that? I don't want people coming into the site and having that access as a student and seeing all the logged in content. I only want paid people doing that. And the same would apply for the NZ Masterclass bundle. That's exactly what we've done here. So you can't just register on tutorials.newzenler.com. You have to go through the NZ Masterclass bundle to get into it, and then you'll have access to all this. So all of this will work because you're part of the course. If you were just a registered user, things wouldn't work because you're not in the course. So that's what Amit didn't mention earlier about that side of things. So hopefully that's clear. It can get complicated. I did a video. If you look in some of the workshops, the live workshops in the NZ Masterclass bundle, you go into Zenler Extras, then go into the workshop, and you'll see that there's videos in there showing you how to set this kind of thing up. And also in the complete guide to Zenler, I show you how to turn that registration page off as well. So I've got some more questions. So you can hear me now. You must be able to hear me now. Yep. Can't hear David. Yep, you can hear me now. You can hear me now. Can you not hear me? Everything's working my end. Let me test this out. Oh, yep, I'm there. I can hear. We can. Okay, good. Right. So that is all the questions in there. Sorry for that technical hitch. This is the problem. Sometimes you do things on your own. I have this when I do live workshops sometimes, because it's like, you know, you're doing lots of things, and I've got lots of screens and windows open, and sometimes you don't look at the main Zoom window, especially if I'm screen sharing, because I can't see I can't see my little box. It disappears. That's what I don't like about Zoom. It sort of closes that box in, and you can't see whether you've muted yourself or not. Drives me nuts, that does. But we'll get by it somehow. So what I want to do now is I want to just take you on a little bit of a kind of onboarding experience. Now, our onboarder is Alice, and she does onboarding and webinars every Tuesday and Thursday. And if you are a new user to the platform, or you've just upgraded or you're thinking of upgrading to our Pro and our Premium service, you'll definitely want to go and do a little webinar or onboarding experience with Alice. So like to do the webinars, this is for people that are thinking about upgrading, and it's really worth doing it because you can ask questions. She takes you on a little onboard tour and it's really cool. So that is for the webinars. Now, I'll put the link in the chat there. Now, if you are already a Pro and Premium, and you might be a Pro and Premium user for a while, but maybe you procrastinated and not done anything on the site, or you're having a hard time with the site, or you don't understand, or you're trying to get it to work with how you work, then you might need the onboarding experience, which means you're already a Pro or Premium member. And if that's the case, you can do that. Alice does that as well. And I'll put that in the chat. So if you're a Pro Premium member already, you can do her onboarding. And guys, you really need to do this. It's a really good thing to do. You've only got to do it once, and then you'll understand it. But you get this real experience. Other people are on with you, and you can talk and ask about questions. And it's a really nice, casual, webinar where it's quite free, and Alice will take you around the platform, not rush on anything. And it can be of real use to you. So definitely make sure you sign up for those if you are either thinking of upgrading, go to the webinar, or if you're already, then go to the onboarding for the Pro and Premium. In the meantime, I'm going to take you on a little onboarding experience. So we're going to tour around the site. So you might want to ask questions as I'm touring around. We're going to see how far we can get. We've got an hour before Carol comes on. So I'm going to go into a site that I'm already building on our Sunday mentoring workshop. And I'm going to be taking you on a tour of that. So let me just close a few of these windows down because they're all in the way. Okay. Good. So I'm going to keep an eye on the chat. If you put a question in there, I'll stop and then explain more if you need me to. So let's share my screen first of all. And this is a site that we're working on. This is where we're up to in the Sunday mentoring. What we did, we started from a completely blank Zenler templates, and we started to create these blocks. In this case, we're doing a dummy site for a dog training site. So you can see these are blocks that we've added already. We've created a little logo. We showed about media creation. We said about actually editing and making images look different. And we set up initially we set up a holding page. And the last workshop we did was actually for the guys that were on the course to actually create their site. And then after, in the new year, then we'll start with the course creation part of it. So this is what we have so far. And we have a form in there. And I'll just take you around the dashboard now. So I'm going to go into the admin for this site. And if you're new to Zenler, this is quite important. This first page that you come to is called the dashboard. Gives you a brief overview of what's been happening on your site, tells you how many visitors to your site, site sign up, leads, course enrollments. Of course, I've got none because I haven't actually promoted this, and I wouldn't because it's a test site. But it gives you this place that you can go to here. So you have over here, before we get to all of these, over here we have reports. So once your site is up and running and you've made sales, you might want to go to reports and run some reports. You can also preview the site here. And if you've got any community set up or any assignments, you have a little bell here. This little bell will show a number in it. So if someone posts does an assignment, it will click 1, and you can click on the little bell and you can actually open it up. If someone's posted on a community, again, it will be up there and you can just click on it, it'll open up and you can just answer them. And so it makes it really visually easy to see. Now this area here, reports, preview, the little bell and your little profile in there, with your account settings and settings, this remains constant throughout the pages. So does all of this area. So this never changes at the top. It's just the content in the page that does. So after the dashboard, we have courses. So courses is where we create all our courses. Now, probably if you're starting with the platform, you would probably want to go into the first place, which is site, because site contains everything to do with your site, including site pages and all these things. So you'll see when we open any of these tabs that new stuff appears on the left-hand side, and it does relate to this area. So if I go into courses, this stuff relates all to the courses. You don't have to jump around. Even once you set a course up itself, it will set the pricing up. It's all in tabs, really easy to use. So let's go back to site. And this is probably the biggest area in site, because you've got things like your site settings, branding, homepage, pages, blog, language, tax, integrations, media library, and all, of course, your students' leads or assistants that you've got in here, plus an affiliate program and all the things for that down there, and a partner program down there if you're part of the partner program. So within the site, you have these site settings. So this would be the name of your site. This would be the new Zenler URL of your site. So demo.newzenler. And you can change this to your own custom or subdomain. So you can set that up in the custom domain area. Gives you information in there. You can also turn your GDPR on or off if you need GDPR on there. And you can customize what it says in here. As much as you like. Next, we have invoices. So if you want your invoices downloadable, you can fill out your details in here for when they download it, your students download it, they'll get your details in there already. So if you want enabled download invoices, make sure you fill that out. We also have notification status in here. So this will be on by default. What this does is it will create automatically created emails that go out when people register on your site, when they enroll in a course or a bundle, an automated email go out. Now, you also have the ability, you can see you have the ability to turn it off. So if you do turn it off, we would then expect you to set up your own automations for a course. And this is a really I didn't do it at first. When I first had my site, I didn't bother with the automations. It's all right. It's okay. Nobody said anything. Didn't even customize my emails. And but now I've got that turned off. And every time I set a new course up, I do a custom set of automations for that course. So when someone enrolls, an email goes out, welcome them, and it's got my little logo in it and all those things. And then when they finish the course, I can also say, congratulations, have a look at these courses. I think you need to do these next. So you can automate the way that people run through your course, but you'll need to turn this off if you do that. If you don't turn this off and you use automations in a course, they will receive a welcome through the system automations, and they will also get a welcome through the course automations as well. So you do one or the other. Gives you information in here. If you just go over this little question mark, system generated welcome emails for course site signups will not be automatically sent if this is disabled. If disabled, we assume you will be using automations to handle this. Okay, this is quite a big one because a lot of people might turn that off and then not bother setting up any automations, in which case someone would sign up for your course or your membership and they wouldn't receive any emails, and that could be very annoying. So our attitude towards this is you should always test your site, and you should always make sure that you have custom emails going out. So that is notification settings. Next, we have what's called global includes. If you are a coder and you want to put things like Google Analytics code or Facebook Pixel, this would be the place where you would do it into here. So this is for all pages. And you can also put it under the course player as well. The course player is a little curriculum that comes up. When you click start, you get that course player come up. So it appears in there. Now you should also set your time zone up as well. And you have a sitemap that you can create here. This is useful if you are using Google Analytics or Search Console and you need to submit a sitemap. It'll ask for a sitemap, which gives you a list of all the pages. So whenever you add a new page, you should recreate your sitemap. This is said in all the tutorials that we do. So that is all the site settings in there. It looks complicated, but it's not as bad as it looks, if you see what I mean. And I wouldn't even worry about this. I just get all your pages sorted out and then worry about that at the end before that, but do it before you launch. Next, we have down here, we have branding, and this is setting up the colors for your site. So you can upload your logo. You're going to see that we have our little logo in here, and that's what's appearing in the thing here. Look there, in there. And you can also see I've got a little paw there. That's a little fav icon, and there it is there. So I've uploaded those. I choose a font that I want to use, Open Sans. I've got bold and regular for my heading, my H1 headings, and for body font, I'm using Open Sans regular. For the course player, I'm using exactly the same. And then I have all the colors for things like the header, which is the top area there, the color of these, what the page colors will be, gives you the footer color, the body colors, that's my link color, hover colors, pretty much everything. You can just brand all the colors throughout. That's the branding section of the site. I've got a question from John. Where can we see an example of the automated welcome emails? So good question. And we are in the section where we can view that. So custom system emails that go out can be customized. We've put in what we think sounds good, okay, but you might want to change it, and I think you should change it. I always say to people when they're running through any of my workshops, go in there and customize all of the emails that go out, including the ones that go out when someone unsubscribes or any of those sort of things. To get access to where that is, you actually come into an area called language here. So if I go into language, if you come down the bottom, you can see this says system emails. If I open this little tab up, you're going to see select an email. So if I click in here, these are all the system emails that go out. So you have a system email that goes out for when someone course enrollment success for a free plan. You have one when they go out, when they enroll for a subscription plan with trial days. And we also have course enrollment success for paid plans. We also have the welcome email. That's what you want, John. And password reset, user role change, enroll course, subscription cancelled, notification of complete recurring payment, and you have all these in here. So the welcome email, John, and if you click any of these, you can edit them. So I'm going to click this one, the welcome email, and you're going to see this is what comes up. So this is what automatically gets sent out. So you might want to go in here and put your logo in here. So for instance, if I wanted to drop my logo and change the wording, I could. And if I go in here and just go into images, I should be able to go and choose my dog image there. I can put this image in here, bring it down a bit. I probably should resize that to the right size. And then I save it. And now when that email goes out, it will have that little image in there. So I've just put that in there really quickly. These bits in blue are customization. So if someone signs up, automatically the email that goes out will pull in the name of your school. So the name of your school is whatever you've called it. In this case, I've called it demo. It will also pull in the URL, which would be demo.newzenler.com. So it would show it there. These are called personalization, these bits in blue. You can also see there's personalization at the top here. To put personalization in, if I was to just delete this one out, let's just hit the backspace. To put the school in there again, I go to personalization. And then I have these to choose from. So I can just drop that back in there, and there it is. So it will pull that in to there. So if you want to, I always say, go in and change this, go in, word it nicely. Remember, it's a welcome email, so you need to have the name of the school in there. And obviously, really important, you need to have the school URL, and you might not want to have their user role, because in this case, it would say student or lead. I tend to get rid of this and just have the URL in there. Definitely leave the password reset in there for them to reset the password, because they might not they might have forgotten it or whatever, and you can log in here. So again, that login URL, school login URL, and you've got the school admin on that side as well. So you can save that. Once you've saved it, it will then go out as that. And then what I suggest you do is you go through the other ones as well. So you check the other emails. So you go to this plan, you have a look at that. You'll need to put the logo in there. So make sure you customize your system emails going out. And then if you want to use automations in the courses, of course you can, if you want them individually on courses. So John, hopefully that's solved yours. I think I've covered this with you, John, but John was on a lot of the workshops, so his head was probably full of information. We covered a lot of stuff. So, but that's how you do it. So that's how you can personalize the emails that you've got. So we looked at branding. Next one we're going to look at quickly is homepage. So under the homepage here, you have the option to choose a homepage. So if you set a page up on your site, you can choose that page in here. So you can choose a different page for logged in users. So maybe people that have bought your course, when they come in, they'll see a different page when they log in to when they're logged out. This is really handy. Next, we have pages. So pages is where all your site pages are. And you can publish and unpublish these. Unpublished pages do not show anywhere and you can't get them. You can view them because you're logged in as admin. So if I clicked, for instance, this was what we did this morning, but if I go and click this one here, and I click this little icon, sorry, then let's choose an unpublished one. I click that little preview, I will see that page, but somebody looking wouldn't find that page if they were not logged in as admin. So I'm going to copy that URL and I'm going to go to an incognito window. When I put this in, it's going to go, oops, page cannot be found. And that's because they're not logged in and you've unpublished the page. Only you can view unpublished pages when you're in as admin. Of course, I could view this page because it's published. So if I went to incognito on this page, I'm going to be able to view it because it's a published page and it's a public page. So you can see that I can put that in there. And you can set up pages. You can see I've set up an anxiety page, a good doggy page, a tricks page, a toilet training page, really easy inside here. And you can clone pages and edit the pages, change the settings for the pages in here, like the URL or the name of the page. So you can do lots of stuff in here and obviously use the page builder. You saw Amit using the page builder earlier. And in session 1, I was using the page builder as well. So really easy to use, flexible system. You can see exactly what you've got. And that's the pages. Next, we have blogs. So inside here, we have a blog feature. So I haven't enabled the blog yet, but if I was to hit that, I could then set up my own blogs. I'm going to go back to the languages now. We already looked at the system email for the languages, but inside here, we also have the ability to change some of the dynamic text that's produced in the site. So there's some text that comes in dynamic blocks, like if you're bringing course pricing and those sort of things. And there's lots of text in there that you might want to change the word of. You can do it all using languages in here. And again, we've got videos on this in our tutorials on a complete guide to Zenler, shows about changing the language. And we've got this handy new feature in here showing you that you can actually put strings in there. So if I was to put something like price and then hit enter, every time price is mentioned, it will come up in here. So I could change that to something else if I wanted to. So this is the default, and you could change it in here. So you can always see what it was before. So you can always put it back, but you can change it in here. And we've added quite a bit more to this. We've also enabled a custom pricing language as well, which is, so you guys that are doing your sites in another language, this is going to be really, really important for you. Okay, and we've covered a lot of this on the videos. So next down here, we have tax. So you can turn on or you can enable EU VAT on here. And you can turn and go through those settings if you need to, add a VAT ID, these kind of things. Next, we have integrations. So you can see we have all our integrations that you can connect up to. And we have quite a lot inside here. We've got PayPal, Stripe, Razorpay, Zenler Mail, Zapier, Zenler API, SMTP, Facebook Pixels, We've got MailChimp ConvertKit, MailerLite, Active Campaign, Mooseend. So if any of you are using any of these, you can connect to them, and the data will go across to them from the Zenler platform for these mail systems. So if you don't know what any of these are, stay away from it, or find out or ask about it, or look in the complete guide and it'll explain what these things are for. So next we have the media library. So media library, as it suggests, is all the media that we have on the site. So you have all this media inside here. We've now got this new feature of being able to tag stuff as well, which is very handy. So we can actually search and we can tag. So we can tag for certain things. So if I want to find all of the logos on the site, I can tag them easily, and I can also search for them. So if I want to search for a tag, I can choose a tag from here, and it will just give me the tags. It will filter out the rest, just giving me the tags that I put in. It's really easy to add tags as well. You can edit tag there, and you can add a new tag if you want inside there. So we've enabled that. It's a new feature, tagging for your media, and means that you can find your information really quickly. You can also bulk tag as well. So if I select multiple files, I can select individual files like this, and then I can go in here and I can add a tag, and I can even remove a tag if I want to remove them out. So tag management made really easy now on the media library. Okay, people is all the people in your site. So we haven't got anybody in here. This was a test student that I set up, and that is where all your people, students would show up. Any admins, instructors, affiliates, and all those sort of things would show up in here. Again, you can filter out what you want. So you can filter by filter there. We also have the affiliate program down here, and you can go to the settings for that and set that up for affiliate program. Got payments in here and reports on the affiliate sales. This is people selling your courses on your behalf, and you pay them a commission. At the moment, you manually handle paying that commission out, but we do generate all the reports for you. And next down here, we have developers and API keys. If you don't know what that is, stay away from it. It's not important. Okay, so moving on from that, that is the site. It's probably the biggest area. Next, we've got courses. So inside courses, we have individual standalone courses, and we also have what's called bundles. So bundles allow you to put multiple courses into one bundle. So it shows as one course, but it contains all of those courses inside it. So bundles is there. We can also set up categories for courses for filtering, and you can set up assignments, so you can monitor your assignments and set up assignments in there. You have the ability to set coupons up for your courses or for all of your courses. You can do a blanket one across all of your courses. You can see the instructors, so you can add instructors. You can see the students, any reviews you can monitor in here, produce certificates for your site. You have all the videos that you've uploaded into your site so far, so it'll show any videos, and you can run reports as well. That when you hit the report tab, it's just going to basically go to this report. You can run reports through this if you want to. So let's just set a quick course up. I'm going to show you how quick it is to do this. So I've got no courses set up at the moment. I'm going to go create a course. I'm just going to call it test. And you can give it a subtitle and a summary, which you normally would. But I'm going to click create course. Now, what's going to happen now is it's creating all of the content for us. Lightning quick, it adds the first section and allows you to add a new lesson into the course. You can also see that you can go back and you could change these course details. So I put test in there. I could change the URL as well. And I could also add a different instructor in here. In this case, I could add Rakesh in there, as he is an admin as well. Now, inside this course details, you can also make it featured. You can make the course price hidden. Yeah, make the course itself secret, enable certificates, set an enrollment limit. So you can limit the amount of people that enroll in that particular course. And you can show course progress. A little bar will come up. You can turn that on and off. And you can obviously upload a course card as well. So you can upload something into there and that would show and look nice. The curriculum is actually your course content. So if you add a new lesson in here, you can then start building your content. So you can put a video in here. Inside of each lesson, you could put multiple media types. You could have 2 videos, 2 audios, 1 audio, 1 video. You can basically mix and match, and you can drag these around, and you can build out more lessons, or you could add more sections to each of those courses. So to actually drive the site to make the sales, we've given you a sales page. This is a default template that is highly customizable. So you can go in here, and just like Amit was showing earlier, you can really customize this sales page here, however you like. And you can also customize the checkout page, which is obviously where they buy the course, and the thank you page. And then the most important page is the course access page, where people will end up when they're taking your course. Again, your curriculum will show in that area as well. And that is highly customizable. As Amit showed earlier, he actually deleted out the curriculum block and the review block and dropped his own block in there. So you've got real flexibility with what you can do. But you can see, if we look at this, this comes down at an angle both sides, so it kind of goes down, down, down. And we've done that because it resembles a funnel, because that's what's happening. People are ending up on the sales page, they're then going to the checkout page, they then got a thank you page after they've paid, and finally they end up at the last place, which is the course access page. So we've made it look like a funnel, because that's the way that they flow through your course before they buy it. So after that pages, we have pricing. So we can set up different pricing plans inside of Zenler. I'm going to come back to pricing in a second. The next one we've got here is drip. So you can easily time release your content. So if you enable drip, you can actually say when that content is coming out. So someone enrolls, say you've got 3 sections. You might, when they enroll, they only got access to the first section. If you've got drip enabled, you could then say, right, when they enroll, they've got access to the first section. After a day or after a week or after a month, they get access to the second section. And after 3 months or whatever, they get access to the third section. So it's dripping the content out over time. So you have that built in. You've got to enable it. We don't have it on by default, so you need to enable it and set that up. And if you click there, it will just tell you how you can you can just release after days, weeks, hours, minutes, all right, or a specific date even. So if you've got everyone signing up at the same time, you can release at a specific date. So next we have automation. So these are all turned off by default. You need to turn them on. And this is basically fires emails based on when someone enrolls or when they finish a course. So they can all be set up inside the course as well. And next you can see the students that are inside that course as well. So you can see that there. So jumping back to pricing now, we have lots of pricing options in here. You can do a course for free, a one-time purchase, a subscription, or a payment plan. And you can also give them trial days as well. And you can also charge an initial fee as well. So you have that ability to charge initial fee and trial days for subscriptions. And you can also set an enrollment limit number as well. So if you only want a certain amount of people in, you could set an enrollment limit per these pricing plans as well. So that is courses. So we made it really easy. There's no jumping around. It's all in the same section. You know, each course has this, so you can just go in and do that. And it's going to be, when you set up a bundle, you're going to have the same things pop up, except with a bundle, you'll be able to choose the courses that go in there. Now, as a final thing, just to let you know that when you do create the course, it will not be published. Even though you can go in and view these pages as we did inside here, it's not published until you hit the published course, right? This is really important. I've had people say on the Facebook group, why is my course not showing? Because they've set it up, they've tested it, but it doesn't show. And they've been testing it because they've been logged in user. They haven't been testing it as a incognito test student. So always make sure that you publish the course when you're finished with it. All right, so that's courses. So we make courses really easy. It's very powerful, these things in here. It's got all the latest features that you would expect from any kind of course creation platform. And we have all those features in there, and we've made it really intuitive as to where all those features are within. So next thing we're going to move on to is going to be communicating with people. So this is driving engagement. You might already have people registered or in courses, and you want to send them emails. So if you want to send them an email, you could use automations if they enroll, but you might want to send them a blanket email. We do it often. We send emails out to say, oh, we've got a new live event coming up, X, Y, Z days, and then we'll just send that out to everybody and they know. And you can use email broadcast to do that. We go into email broadcast, you're going to see here that we have these emails. So I can create a new broadcast here. I can title it whatever I want, and I can hit create. And then it's going to let me choose the list. So I need to choose the email list. In this case, all contacts. You're going to see we have 3 in there. And we're using our Zenler mail to send that. We've got our from name and we've got our email address in there and test. I'm going to click next. And now we can just set up our email. So hello world. And then you can personalize it as well. So you can put first name, last name, the email you're sending to, so an unsubscribe link, which is already in there. And you can personalize it again. You could put your little logo in there if you wanted to. So you could drop a little logo in there, just choose a little dog like that and drop that in there. By the way, with this little, I can actually change the position of it. Let me put a little bit more text in here just to show you. Let me just copy this. So if I put a bit of text in, a bit of gobbledygook, I can change where this shows. So if I go on to this, I can click edit. Now, a lot of people have asked this question, like, how do you put a link on an image? So you can do it. Just go click on the image, click edit, and you'll see down here. So you can paste a link in there if you wanted to. You can also change the position and you can add a caption. So I can call this dog caption, just so you know, and then I could label it. Now you might want to label it because if someone's mail system is not, they've got it set up not to display images, it will then say the name of it. So you might want to give it a title. This is a dog. Okay, so you might want to put something like that in there and then it tells them. But this is a really good one down here. We've got position. So you can position this and this will flow around the text. So if I position it right, watch what happens. I'm going to position it right. So it's going to flick that way. Let's click save. And there you go. It's appeared over this side. So if I typed a lot of text into here, excuse me, I'm just going to type rubbish. It's going to flow around this dog because it's aimed to go right. So let's just hit this dog and there we go. So it's gone down onto the other line. So you can actually put where this dog basically floats. So if I put it left, it's now going to appear on the left hand side and you see the text is flowing around it. And again, if I edit this again and I put it center, it's going to appear in the center just as we put it there. So this is a good way. You'll also notice if I click the image, I can drag the image in here or make it slightly bigger. Okay, so that gives you control over that. If you want to reset it, you can go into here and you can click none and click save and it will just drop back. And notice the caption has appeared there as well. And of course, if you click this, you can delete it out. So that's how you can put an image in there. That's used quite a lot for things like buttons. I've got a button that I could upload. Let me just try and find it first. Where is it? Assets there. So I created this little button. So again, I could put a link on that button, you know, and then have them click straight through to that. So you can make it look quite nice. So that's how you can set it up. Now, obviously you put the subject as well. This is new, and then you can put a little bit of personalization in there on that as well. So you might want to put their name. And then you just go through, you can send a test email to yourself, and you should definitely do this. and then you click next. Once you've received it and it looks nice, you click next, and then it's going to say, when do you want to send this? So you can schedule it. So if you're going on a holiday and you want to send out a series of these email broadcasts, you could always schedule them to go out at a set time, or you can leave it in draft. So that's email broadcast. Now you can also save, you can actually bring in email lists and from contacts as well. So email broadcast, really powerful. Next thing I want to look at really quickly here is marketing funnels. So inside marketing funnels, you can set up whole funnel structures. So we give you 2 funnel types, but really it doesn't matter. You've got a lead magnet or you've got a video series funnels. And these funnels are very, very versatile. You can do a ton of things. I've got videos on the YouTube channel, just put in funnels or branching funnels, and you'll see that you can send people on different paths. And I've actually got one set up at the moment. Let me just stop the share so I can just find the page. And I'll show you what I've done with mine. I've shown this a few times, so probably some of you will be a bit bored with it, but it's good to show you it as a demo. So I have a marketing funnel inside here. And let me go to funnel steps. Okay, let me just share. So here we have a funnel. So this is actually a lead magnet. Okay, and I just added more steps in and added my own video. So I didn't even use the video series, even though it's a video series, I didn't use the video series funnel. The reason being, I just wanted a really simple, clean template because I was going to totally change the way it looked. So inside here, if I preview this page, you can see that this is the sign up for this page. It's a free mini course, basically, just gets them to sign up and tags them on the way in. So when they click that, when they actually fill their name and their email out, they'll then go to the next place in the funnel, and it will send an automated email out to give them the first lesson. Okay, so an automated email goes out. So this will be the thank you they receive. Thank you, email sent. So an email will go out and it will give them the link to this, which is the start of the course. So once they go into that, they're then into this introduction lesson 1. They can click next and they can do the next lesson, etc., etc. And at the end of this, I then tell them about all my other courses and stuff and going on. But I've already captured them as leads at this stage. So this is how funnels could work for you. They're really powerful, guys. And you can do a lot of stuff with them, a lot of stuff. I've only touched the tip of the iceberg with funnels. I've got a lot more ideas that I want to use for these things, and I'll be releasing them as tutorials next year. So that is funnels, marketing funnels, very powerful. And next, we're going to move on to communities. So with communities, you can set up a community and you can tie it to, you can either do it as an open community or you can tie it to a course that you're doing. You can create as many communities as you want, and you have quite a lot of flexibility within those communities to change things. So you can see if I click community, this is what opens up. I can change these images, I can change the name and all these things. This is an open community for everybody, but you can come into the settings for this down here as well, and you can see that this is for anyone that's registered on the site, but I could also choose a course. If I choose the course there, I would select the course. I haven't got any courses in here, but I would select the course, and then this community would only be for those people that are in the course. So you can have multiple communities per different course within your site, and you can also have one open community if you want to, where you might just want people to talk into talk, so that people from other courses could talk with each other on one open community. So we give you that functionality. You can also unpublish, and you can see when people put posts on those communities, because as I mentioned earlier, the little bell icon will change on there as well. So community is really powerful, and that brings us on to the last bit of this kind of onboarder, and that is the lives. So you have the ability inside Zenler with the Pro and Premium plan to actually launch live classes and live interactive webinars. And we have Zoom actually built into the system itself. You're using Zenler's version of Zoom to actually do it. It is actually Zoom, but it's Zenler's Zoom. And you're using that. It's an enterprise level Zoom. You can do super extended lives of up to 4 hours with super extended. And I think with pro, you can have up to 300 or 400 people. And with premium, you can have up to 500 people on any of your lives. If you get that many, it's pretty good. You can also do a live stream as well to both Facebook and YouTube. And like everything else on Zenler, when you go into any of these and you create your live webinar, you just got to fill a few things out, and then it will set it all up for you. So if I just put test here and I say I'm going to run this tomorrow at 4:40 p.m. Okay, and then I'm going to say it's Europe London time. I can set the maximum amount of attendees in here. I can set the duration down here. So let's pick 2 hours. I can leave this. I can make this live webinar secret. Ask for a password when joining if you want to. If you click that, you're going to get a little passcode come up. You can also change the image for that, upload an image. And when you're finished setting those up, you can also do recurrings as well. So if you're running these each week, each month, you can set a recurring live, which means you set it up once and don't have to touch it. And once I've finished that, I can click next, and you're going to then be taken to some templates that you could choose. We're going to be adding more to this. You can preview them by clicking here and select them by clicking here. So I'm going to choose this one, and then you click finish. Now, these are templates, but like everything in Zenler, we give you the ability to highly customize all of this stuff. So you can make it look completely different to this. Once you're finished, you can click finish. And that will then be set up, and that will create all of those pages for you. You can set up automation for when someone registers. You can see your registered users, and you can always change the webinar details if you want to. So this has been set up with like one click of the button. And now you can see that I have a registration page, and people can register. If they click that, they're going to get a pop-up to register. And then they will get an email. Hopefully you set your automations up, because you should. Then they'll get an email, and they'll then go to what's called a waiting page. And we've also given you a replay page as well. If you want to upload a replay, you can include that in automation, send an automation out after the event's finished, giving people a link to the replay page. You will need to record your Zoom session. There's no cloud recording. You need to record your Zoom session and then upload to the replay page, and then people will then see that. So you can give them that link there, and then they will have access to that replay page. This is something that I commonly do for my Sunday lives. I put a replay up there, and then they can go and see them. So the waiting page is here. And when the time elapses here, they will be able to enter the webinar. Okay, so that's how lives work inside there. And that is a nutshell look at Zenler. So we covered all of the main features there. So it's not so big. I mean, we did that in what, 42 minutes, I think. So there's things in here that you will want to look at, like certificates, reviews, and these things. And we have all this training for you at tutorials.newzenler.com. So you can always look at that, and if you need a question answered, obviously put it on the Facebook group, or have a look through our tutorials.newzenler, and that should help you, I hope. So any questions? You've all been quiet, because we've got Carol coming up really soon. So let me stop the share, and feel free to ask any questions if you have any. We have loads of questions on the Facebook group. When I do these lives, I never get any questions. I'd really like some questions from you, so I can answer you live. So John, are you okay? I answered your welcome email. Okay, so I'm going to jump into automations then. I'm supposed to have Judy on, and she was going to do a show. So I've had to kind of make this up, lastminute.com. So bear with me. Right. Let's have a look at automations just before 4 o'clock. So automations are ways of sending out stuff. So you can send automations out. It basically means when someone registers, usually, then automations will go out. But it can also be if someone signs up for a course, then automations can go out. They work in exactly the same way throughout the system. So there's no relearning anything. So if you come into this live that we've got here, I'm going to come into, this is one that we just set up. So when I click through here, I can go into automations, and you're going to see here it says on register and on register there. If I click this and I click edit action, we've already turned this one on for you, and it's basically someone signed up for a live event. So we've filled this out for you, but it doesn't mean that you can't change things. So you can go in here and edit it. So when someone signs up for this live, they're going to get an email saying, hi, let's pretend the name's John. Hi, John, you've successfully booked on live webinar by demo in this case. And topic is test, because that's what we called it. And when it will give the time that we set on our live, and it will give the join link. That join link will go to the waiting page. And it's also got please add to the calendar and thanks the webinar host, which in this case would be me. So and we have a mailing address there and attach a calendar event to that as well. So that tells you here after. So from registration, so 0 days. So that means this will fly out straight away. So we also have some more down here. So this is saying 1 hour before the scheduled time. So if you click this one here, you're going to see before scheduled time, 1 hour. So 1 hour before the live event starts, this email will go out. Now you can see it's green because it's paused. So it hasn't been turned on yet. So at the moment, it won't activate. So you need to make it live by clicking here. And if you want it to apply to existing users, you can click yes. Okay, now it's live, it's going to work. And this is the reminder that's going to go out to the people for that webinar. So we've done exactly the same for this one here, where we've got it actually going out 1 day before the scheduled time. Again, it's paused, so it won't go out. So I'd need to activate it in there. And that's basically how it works. Now you can add more rules in here. You can go into add more actions because you could send more emails. You could send another email 1 day after registration. You could even add a tag or remove a tag, send a webhook, or if you want notification that someone signed up, you can even put a notification admin. So it will notify you when someone has enrolled in it. So you'll get an email explaining it. So that is automations. That's how they work. It's that simple. We have exactly the same for courses as well. If we go into this course, slightly different rules and actions, but pretty much the same. If we go into here, you can see we have some different rules here. So you've got on enroll, on course complete, on lesson complete. So you could send emails based on those rules. So if I did on lesson complete, then I could add an action to that, send an email when they complete this lesson or that lesson, or when they complete course, send this email. So that's how automations work. Again, inside the funnels themselves, again, we've got automations in here. So if you created a quick funnel, let's do a lead magnet quickly and call this test, and then click next and just choose one of these, doesn't matter which one. Then again, like everything else, the funnel will be created for you and you can go into automations. So under automations here, again, might be slightly different, the rules for these. You can see different rules in here. So on subscribe, add an action, you can send them out, add a tag, and all of those. So we give you those ability to go in there. Now we've also got other things in here as well. There's more advanced filters. So if, say, someone is tagged with red and orange, for instance, if they've been tagged when they come in the system based on how they've come in, you could filter it so that it only sends an email to someone who's got the tag red, and then it sends a different email to someone that's got the tagged orange. And you can do that by using these advanced filters down the bottom. Okay, so there's that as well. So very, very powerful. Just play around with the basic functionality before you play around with the filters. But if you need to know how to tag people, how to send emails out based on different tags, that is how you do it in the system. So I've got Sharon on. Hi, Sharon. I find that I need to actually do it. I understand all what you're saying. Nice website. Yeah, I know. Well, of course, you know, doing it is the way to learn. Everybody works differently. Some people like following. Some people have the video on the side and they pause it and then they do a bit and then they play it. Other people like me, I tend to watch the videos. I've done this for a long time, so I watch a video and I can generally pick it up at speed. But sometimes I watch a video and then I'll go and kind of almost watch it again, but I'll be doing it at the same time. So everyone works differently. So yeah, you need to do it. It's very hard. And I want to, this is what I want to do next year, a little bit of an exclusive for you. A bit like what Kevin's doing with his 5-day challenges. I want to do a similar thing, but I want to take a group of probably no more than 10 students through an intensive redesign of their sites. So, and I get them to do it. So they might even be screen sharing and doing things, and I'll be getting them to do it. So I'm making sure they keep up with me. So it'd almost be like a real intense boot camp. It's not going to be a comfortable experience, but they'll learn tons from it. And I'll actually be seeing where they're making mistakes and things. So I'm going to have to be very careful by who I choose, because I need people to be of the same level. So it'll probably be people that don't know anything about like media creation, those sort of things. So that's going to be coming. There's going to be a lot of those sort of things. And I know Kevin already runs them. But this is, yeah, this is just what, because we each have our different areas. You know, Kevin's got his areas that he deals with. I've got mine. Alice has got hers. And, you know, Rakesh comes and glues us all together. So lots of exciting things to come up next year for education. So Sharon Packer said, I'm a multitasking. I'm working with 10 screens up while watching you live. Yeah, that's what I do. That's what I do. I do. It's just years of working on different projects at different times. So I jump between stuff really quickly, just because I've been doing it for so long. So New Zenler can be free. I'm at work. You're at work watching this. Brilliant. Okay, so you just want to be free. Yeah, that's the thing, the freedom of it. You know, you ask anybody, like, what would you want to do? It's like online work just means that, or if it's not just being a course creator, it's also like how, even if you've got your own product and you're selling your own product, it means if you stocked your product, it sells. If it's selling somewhere, you don't have to spend any time working. You can go off and do something. And that's I guess that's what we're all looking for. We're looking for more time for ourselves without working, and also doing something that we love to do. And that's why you get a lot of course creators like doing like painting courses and things like that, because they've always painted, they love it, and they just want to make money from it and give up that day job that they don't want to do. Totally understand. I've been in a lucky position because I worked in a factory. I was a designer in there. We did aircrafts and for the MOD and all the major airlines. And I was there for 10 years. It was a very relaxed place. I learned a lot. When I left there, I then went self-employed, and I haven't really been into an office since, you know. So it's been really good. So I've had that experience already. And then when I started doing my own stuff and my course creation, things like that, there's even more freedom for me. But I'm always looking for that point where we can say, all right, I've got money coming in. A friend of mine just bought their own house, and they're renting it out, and they're basically traveling around the world they've paid for the house, so they're traveling around the world on the money that they get for renting it out, which I think is beautiful. So we're all trying to get that more time for ourselves, more time to enjoy life, and also do things that we love to do. And that's why you're here, I'm guessing. Yeah, so, you know, I don't have to tell you, you already know all this stuff, you guys. All right, so we're coming up to 3:54. We should have Carol joining us. I have actually sent her the link, so she should pop up on here. Can't wait for this one. So it's going to be interesting. Again, I know what I do to kind of relax at the computer. and to avoid straining my eyes and those sort of things. But I'd be interested to hear what she's going to say on all this stuff. Very interesting indeed. So she'll be coming in very soon. And I think she sent me a message, so I need to. So Amit is just gone on the chat and he's just saying, did anyone watch? Yes, they did, Amit. They did watch indeed. Yeah, I think we were up to about 20 people, which is actually quite good. So let me just, got some things going on. Aha, okay. Yep. So Carol's going to be on, and to read out what she wrote. So how can we maintain our biological requirement for movement as we spend long hours at a computer screen building our site and courses? It's a pretty powerful statement. So this should be a good one. We do have lots of different things. So what I love about a day with Zenler is you always get different people teaching different things, all experts in their field. And it's really good that they're coming on. So I'm going to put in the chat where you guys need to go if you want to register for a day with Zenler. So if you want to come on here and just help us out, help the community to that you think something that they might be interested in, then that would be really good. So I've got a form that you need to fill in to join, and we're going to be doing the next one in January, so not happening yet. So you've got some time, and I can see that we have Carol here. Hi, Carol. So I'm going to put that in the chat to that thing there. So she's not quite ready yet.
Oh, there we go.
Hi, Carol.
Hello. There we go.
Hey, good to see you.
Hi. It's
it looks nice and sunny there.
It's really bright, so hopefully it's not too washed out. And I think my computer, I don't usually work in a chair, so I have to kind of figure out how to situate myself so you can see me.
Yeah, it's quite bright where you are.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Okay. I'm in Toronto.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice and sunny there. Is it
Cross
cold?
pond. It's not. It's actually unseasonably mild. It's about 14 degrees.
Wow. That's beautiful.
So it's lovely.
Right. So I'm going to just share Carol's site here. So carolrobbins.ca.
Mm-hmm.
And then Carol's going to have a little bit of a chat about what she's going to be doing today. So here it is. So it's alignment rescue. So Carol Robbins, restorative exercise movement courses, kinesthetic anatomy. So this looks like great. This is all the Zenler site, is it?
It
Carol?
is. Yep, totally.
Look at that.
Yeah, I pretty much recreated my WordPress site on New Zenler. So
Fabulous.
That's what we like successful.
Yeah, lots. You've seen a lot of questions come up where people ask, "Oh, can I take my WordPress site? Can I?"
For sure. Yeah, I didn't maintain it, so I'm purely on New Zenler now.
Brilliant. Have you used any other platforms?
No, just WordPress and New Zenler.
Oh, right. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you've struck gold straight away.
I was really lucky, and it came at a really good time for me because I was just about ready to start making courses. So looking around at different learning management systems, a friend of mine who's actually also one of the New Zenler people, she was the one who I used her code, and then so we both got in at the same time. So it was great. So that was March. I can't believe it's not even been a year. It was only March 2020, I think. Oh. And I've already got several courses, and I'm working on my second site, which is a membership site. that's not as easy for me to do. So it's been taking a while,
Right.
watching the tutorials and, working my way through them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you've done really well. So you've just got on with it and done it all yourself.
I have, yep, no help. So, and I'm not a tech person, not at all. I'm a movement person. I teach, fitness and movement. So, so if I can do it, basically anybody can.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. Another testimonial. So,
Sure.
brilliant. All right, I'm going to leave it to you then. Do
Okay.
you want to take it away? Just
Yeah,
sort
sure.
of have a little chat about yourself and, how long you've been doing this stuff for and all that stuff. And yeah, take it away.
So I thought as a restorative exercise specialist you might not be familiar with it. So I'll just tell you a little bit about what that is. I think of it's like bridging the gap between physiotherapy and fitness or personal training. So you may not be injured and need a physiotherapist, but if you go to a fitness class, you get frustrated, or maybe you get hurt and they send you to a physiotherapist who says, well, you're just not fit enough, you're not strong enough, and they send you back and you're on this hamster wheel and you don't quite know what's going on. So I'm the person that can tell you what's going on. And what happens when we spend, like you, I have been spending a lot more time on my computer in the last year, or even 2 years, because before New Zenler, I was teaching just using Zoom on for my clients. So teaching to a screen, not being in my studio with real live people anymore. So spending a lot more time editing and then of course making my New Zenler site and all the courses. So the last year has been like a crash course of sitting for me and spending a lot of time in stillness more so than normal. And I think that's the case for most people, especially since the pandemic. So I'm in a unique position to be able to tell people, like, here's what you can do to move more of you while you're still kind of stuck at the computer screen in ways that you might not really think of. So we think of what happens with we're in these 8 hours, let's say, of stillness, like a day long of working at a computer, and then we offset that by working out or exercising for about an hour. So you might exercise before work or after work, but there's this bout of inactivity followed by a bout of intense, shorter activity. So that's kind of like saying, I can offset a diet of junk food because I'm going to have a salad for dinner. So your body still has to deal with the input of all the junk food, right? Even though the salad is, you're doing that with the best intentions. Your body is not a salad body, it's more of a junk food body, right? Because that's the bulk of your diet. So if the bulk of your movement diet is sitting in front of a computer screen, you become an Olympian at sitting. And then you take your sitting body to whatever it is you're trying to do, even if it's something really fun and different and interesting like surfing. But most people, of course, are doing things like jumping on a treadmill or getting on a spinning bike or something like that, or just doing a course online. So you're taking this sitting body and you're trying to do these movements that may not be what your body is now the best at doing. So we end up losing ranges of motion in our joints. And what happens to our body when we lose ranges of motion in our joints, so I've got 3 cats kind of going crazy around me here, is that we borrow movement from body parts next to the joint that's missing the movement. And we call that a compensation. So for the most part, we don't really realize that this is happening because we're still achieving our objective, which I'm going to give you an example in a minute, but we're still getting what we need to do done, but we may not be realizing that we're doing it in a different way than originally. So I kind of decided on 4 or 5 exercises. They're not really exercises, but they're movements that you can do throughout the day to help you generate more movement in parts of your body that I've chosen simple exercises that are easy to remember and also kind of give you the most bang for your movement buck. So the first one will be a good demonstration of that compensation that I was talking about. So if you're in a chair, just scoot to the front edge of your chair and be careful if you're on a rolling chair, put the back against a wall or something. and just let your arms hang down by your sides. And you're going to bring your arms forward, straight forward, and then continue raising your arms until your arms are directly overhead. Now, if you have injury in one of your shoulders, you can do this with one arm, but if you can, do it with both arms. And just do that 2 or 3 times. So I'm getting my arms directly overhead. I can move away from the camera if you want to see, but I think you can tell that the arms are straight up overhead. And so for the most part, I am getting that job done. But what happens is that movement, that 180 degrees of, it's called shoulder flexion, should occur in 2 places. And one of them is the ball and socket joint of your shoulder. And the other is the shoulder blade, which sits on the back of your rib cage and also gets to move around on your rib cage. So as your arm reaches forward, the ball and socket rolls, and then the shoulder blade kind of continues so that the movement can complete its journey. So you should be able to get at least to 180 degrees, if not more, of this movement. But I'm going to turn to the side now so you can see my back against the white wall, I think. I think that's better than if I turn the other way.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to show you what happens with when you're missing that range of motion in your shoulder. So there's the ball and socket part. Now the shoulder blade is getting involved. And I get my arm to about this high, but I'm out of shoulder. So I'm going to borrow that movement by moving my spine instead. So you can see my back moving. And the objective is met because my arm is now reaching right overhead, but I haven't actually moved my shoulder that end range. Right, I've borrowed it from my spine. So I'm going to turn this way now so you can see the front of my body. And if I bring this arm up, watch my ribs. And when I get about here, the ribs kind of poke forward in order for my hand to get overhead. So I've got my arm overhead, but I got that movement by actually moving just here. That's right. Yes, that's right. I've arched the back. So, and yet it's not a global movement of all the joints of your back moving. It's really concentrated in a very small 4 or 5 vertebrae that get compressed to push the rib cage forward. So what's actually happening is the whole rib cage is tilting so that the back is moving backwards and the front is moving forwards to get my arm up. So this is a problem in 2 ways. First of all, you're underusing what should be your shoulder joint movement. And joints require full ranges of motion they require movement in order for the synovial bath that maintains the health of your, the word just fell out of my head, cartilage, your articular cartilage. And the other thing is now you've got overuse of a part of your body that is, it's not really an efficient way to do that movement because you're using a different part of the body to do it. So that part gets overused, which can then also lead to both under and overusage can lead to injury. So as people on a computer, we spend a lot of our time with our hands at about this high and our shoulders never moving beyond, let's say, steering wheel height, right? So even if you don't work at a computer, our whole culture is built around this kind of convenient thing. So if I ask an adult, like, when's the last time you raised your arms overhead? If it isn't in a fitness class, it usually has something to do with putting luggage in the overhead compartment, which none of us have done in the last 2 years, or getting something up out of a higher cupboard that is probably not a daily thing, like your turkey platter or something twice a year. So everything that you use daily is put at a convenient location and if you think about that word convenient, I want you to replace it now with less movement. So every time something is convenient, it's actually taking the place of a movement that you used to do. So if you actually put something that you use most often, like your coffee beans or something down below where you need to squat or up high where you need to reach, you're going to get that movement just built into your day. So one of the exercises that I'm going to have you do then is take your ribs, your bottom ribs, and let me just focus here. I don't know why it's doing that. So what most fitness trainers will tell you is lift your chest and pull your shoulders back, right? Or maybe your mother. But I want you to do the opposite, this is kind of fitness blasphemy. I'm going to have you drop your ribs down and bring your shoulders forward. So your bottom ribs, if you can feel them, are stacked right over the top of your pelvis. Okay, so that even if it looks too rounded or too slumped and your head looks too far forward, ribs right over pelvis is a neutral rib cage. Okay, so ribs forward looks like that, ribs down looks like that. And with the ribs down, just raise your arms, or one arm if you want to do one at a time. You can put your hands on your ribs to remind you. And you're just going to raise your arms a few times. So if you raise your arms with your ribs down, and stop when you get to your end range. So don't expect that you'll get your arms overhead. It might just be to here. I have plenty of clients whose arms are still in front of their face when they raise their arms without moving their spine. And the other way you can build this into your day is if you're leaving your office, every time you leave, if you have a door frame, just hook your fingers over the top of the door frame and keeping your feet on the ground, just kind of hang from the door frame. So you won't have full body weight on it, but you'll just be hanging from kind of the molding of your door frame. And that way, every time you leave, your office to go and get a drink or go to the bathroom, you have an arm raise built in. So that's one movement that we're kind of missing in our society, and especially if you're working on a computer all the time, that movement of the arms. I actually have a hanging. So if you ask a kid when's the last time they had their arms overhead, they're going to say, well, when I climbed a tree or when I'm hanging on monkey bars. So, we think of that as the realm of children only, but that movement of hanging, swinging, brachiating are really something that we should be doing all our life long. So I actually have a hanging contraption over my computer that I can reach up and grab onto and just hang from every once in a while. It's kind of extreme, but I am a movement professional, so
well, there's,
I can do that.
Also these things. There's these exercise things, something like gravity or something, or you hang upside down. You have your feet in there, and you hang upside down, and you can sort of push yourself back up. But it's to like stretch you all out, and uncompress your,
Yeah, they call those inversion tables.
That's
and
it.
They're kind of fun. It's like, you have this teeter totter, and your head moves down as your feet move up, and then your feet move down as your head moves up. But it's fun and it's interesting, and there's benefits to it, but it's also passive, right? You're not really doing that movement to your body. It's just, that you're lying on a bed essentially that is supporting you, and you're just tipping yourself up and down. So that brings me to a good point, actually, and that is the fact that our chairs support us. So if you're sitting in a chair and you look at the position of your body, you're going to be in usually in a chair. I only have a folding chair here, so it's not an office chair, but most chairs kind of put you in this position where your pelvis is shifted back and your back is rounded and you're supported by the chair. So I wouldn't be able to maintain this position without a chair. I would fall on my bum. But if you shift forward so that your sit bones are at the front of your chair, then you have to use your back muscle and your core musculature to sit up. So that's one way you can get more movement and more work. Every once in a while, just kind of shift forward and sit upright so that your back muscles have to work. And then when they fatigue, because they will, then shift back and use the chair again. But the chair is actually you're outsourcing your body's work to a piece of furniture. And if you spend a lot of time in that piece of furniture, then your body becomes shaped exactly like that piece of furniture. So
does that include for like chairs that have got good backrests? Some have got like the cushions because I know like quite fashionable now to like have those like balls or those stools that you can sit on that are kind of shaped like a Z, those kind of weird shaped things.
Yeah. So there's a whole industry around sitting, right? Because we spend so much time sitting. It's like, well, we know that's a problem. So how can we sit in a way that doesn't end up being an injury? And the whole ergonomics field has come out of that. And that is built around keeping you in one position, so you're still sedentary, but in a way that is comfortable, so that you can be productive for longer in one position. And what I'm trying to do is get people to move more. So the more fidgety you are in a chair, the better. And the other thing that's become kind of big in the last, I'd say 10 years, is standing desks. So standing is great, but it's also still one position. So what's better is movement. And the more you can move, if you have a standing desk, great, you can use it, but you can move your feet in different ways if you're standing, or you can go between the standing and sitting so that you're not always standing, because always standing, that was a problem in the factory years where people were on factory production lines. They were having all these injuries from standing all day. So then, we kind of moved to a sitting culture, and now we're going back to standing, but we're missing the point. The point is that we should be moving. And there's no way to move if you're kind of tied to your computer. So you've got to figure out, how can I move bits of me, the bits that really need it. So for me, it's the shoulders, the spine, the pelvis. So I'm going to go to the pelvis next. And this, when you mentioned the lumbar support, that's kind of what I'm going to do next. But I'm not going to do it passively the way a lumbar support would, which means, it's putting your body in a position like an orthotic would for your foot. I'm going to show you how to do that more actively. So for that, I'm going to take my chair and put it sideways. And I showed you earlier that if I'm sitting in the chair, it kind of tilts me back. So what I'm going to do now, I have a yoga mat on this chair just because the chair itself is really slippery. But you can just pretend I have a regular chair. I'm going to put a folded blanket towards the back of the chair. And then I'm going to try and find a place where you can see this. I'm going to put my sit bones on that roll so that it pushes my pelvis forward and kind of tilts my pelvis. So my sit bones are kind of up on the roll, but the front of my pelvis is dropped down. Can you see that? And that gives me that lumbar curve.
Oh.
So now I can sit there in a more neutral spinal position. It is still bolstered. It is still fairly passive, but at least my back muscles have to work now in this position. And again, a position in itself is not good or bad. It's just another position. So there's nothing wrong with this position. A lot of people are like, oh, this is really bad posture. You shouldn't be in this position. Any position your body can do is inherently good for it. It's just the amount of time we spend in it that can be a problem. So if you can move between that position and this one, that will give you a little bit more options.
So how would you, would you say that there's a set time between moving? I mean, what I always use, only when I've been working for Zenler do I sit at the desk for so long.
Yeah.
I always need to get up, stretch my back and have a little walk around because I feel my legs get a bit dead on the edge of the chair. Perfect. And things.
Yeah.
I get up every 20 minutes.
Yeah, perfect.
And I will have a little walk around.
Yep.
But sitting here doing these live long sessions, it's like, it's a bit of a killer because I'm always feeling, I feel like I need to stretch and like, because I feel things seizing up if I don't.
For sure. And that's a really excellent point, because what you just said there is, I feel, the back of my legs on the chair. I feel my back getting kind of stiff. So it's the discomfort that you're feeling that is driving the movement that you need. So that's another thing about ergonomics, is if it makes you too comfortable, then it takes away movement. And it's really being uncomfortable that drives us as humans to move. So if you think about like a really cushy couch, you sink into it and you can sit there and just, do a Netflix. What's it called when people watch a lot of Netflix? Binge. So, you could lie there for hours and not move. And, sometimes people sleep in a really soft mattress and they wake up in the same position they went to sleep. But basically, we're meant to be moving all the time. And what instigates that need for movement is discomfort or pressure. So you notice the pressure on the back of your thighs on the chair. And that is something that, when you think about it, is not good for the blood vessels and the muscles and the tendons and all the tissues on the back of your legs, that compression for hours and hours and hours. But we're so used to it, we don't even realize it. And yet, if you lie on something that's uncomfortable, like you lie on the floor, you're like, oh, this is so uncomfortable. Or you're going camping and you're lying on the ground and you're like, oh, how can I even stand this? I need to bring my air mattress with me, because you're used to this comfort. Your body's adapted to it, but you're not used to the discomfort of that other thing. So that's what makes you want to fuss and move around a lot, which is actually a good thing. So we've kind of become this still culture that doesn't realize that lots of movement and discomfort is actually discomfort can be pressure, and it can also be temperature. So if you're cold or too hot, you'll want to move. So that's another way to think of it. So now that I've got my pelvis in this kind of tilted forward position and my lumbar spine is neutral and my ribs are down that we discussed earlier, now the tissues that run from my rib cage to my pelvis are their normal resting length, which they wouldn't be if my ribs were lifted. They'd be pulled a little bit too long in the front and too short in the back. So when I drop my ribs, I have this nice kind of neutral position of my core all the way around. And now I'm ready to do a twist. So this is a really good exercise for people who are spending a lot of time in a chair. And I want you to rotate your chest relative to your pelvis. So you can put your hand on your sternum or your breastbone and rotate your breastbone to the right and left. And try not to use your hands to pull, right? Use your muscles to pull you there. And as you go to that twist, keep your ribs down so you're not going to push them forward to get more rotation. Hold the twist in one direction for a few breaths. So another thing that, so this is good for core and back and breathing mechanics, pardon me, but the thing about spending a lot of time, and I'll just go to the other side. The thing about spending a lot of time at a computer is that when we're still, we're also only breathing one particular way. So our breathing mechanism becomes sedentary. And we're not using a lot of our breathing parts. So this helps your core, but it also helps your spine and also your breathing parts. So if you can just stay in a twist and breathe, so that's another thing you can take a break doing.
When I do that side twist, I do a lot of before I surf. I always do lots of stretching to warm up.
Okay.
I have to, otherwise I get injured, and I've had some bad ones. But I do lots of rotational twitches. But I found that when I'm sitting in the chair, if I do that, I get cramp on the side that I'm turning on.
Oh, okay. And are your ribs down? Are your ribs truly down?
They are, yeah.
Okay.
I can feel the muscle on the side, and then it just sort of cramps. It might be because I've been surfing, and it's kind of like, and then I was sitting down for ages.
Yeah. And it also might just be that you're trying to like do almost a crunch in that direction. So your ribs are down, but they're not getting closer to your pelvis as you twist, right? They're just staying that same distance. And if you still find that you're cramping, just go back and forth. There's obviously what I'm telling you today is exercises you can do in a chair, but that's not what I normally teach people. I teach people out of a chair. So there's different ways to test the core yield, it's called. So the ability of your trunk muscles to lengthen than doing it this way. So that people think of strength as the ability of a muscle to contract or shorten, but it can only strengthen as much as it can from a lengthened position. So if your musculature is adapted short and it can't lengthen to what it should have been the original length position, then it's going to reduce its force generation. So it's actually going to become weaker. So that's why doing a lot of trunk activities is not great for your core muscles. The other thing that is that a lot of people think is really good is to pull the abs in and suck the navel to spine is kind of the cue. So they'll do that thinking that's good and maybe tuck their pelvis under. But again, I'm going to drop the ribs, that kind of anti chest lift, shoulders back. So drop the ribs, but also let the stomach muscles relax because they should be active in circumstances where they're reactive and not so much just passively pulling in and holding all the time. So that's another way. I'm going to go through another exercise. Do we have time? And it's probably one of the better ones, I think, for most people, and the one that they won't think of very, it's not very obvious. So as a movement educator, I think about movement, not just in the main bigger muscles like the legs and arms and core, but all of the muscles that are affected when we are spending a lot of time at a screen. So it became obvious at some point that children who spent a lot of time indoors had a higher incidence of myopia than children who spent more time outdoors. And they started researching that, and they, of course, had to look at everything it could be, like, is it, a vitamin D deficiency from these kids inside and so on. But it turns out that there's a mechanical reason for this, and that is that when you're looking at something inside, you have a limitation to how far you can focus. So if you're looking at a computer screen, you're this is my cat Gormal, you're actually only looking at something that's at the most a few feet away for most of the day. And there's a muscle, it's actually a muscle attaches to your lens. And when the muscle contracts, it thickens the lens. It seems kind of counterintuitive if you know anatomy, but it's true. When it contracts, the lens thickens and it focuses short. And when the muscle relaxes, the lens thins and it focuses long. So this might be another reason why after a day of looking at your computer screen, your eyes feel so tired. So that ciliary muscle, it's called, is contracting all the time. So one of the things that I suggest that people do if they can, you can tell by the light that's coming in that I have a big window beside me here. So I advise people if they can to set up their computer near a window. And so it kind of looks like, when I'm talking to you that I'm looking to the side and I'm mulling over and I'm thinking what I'm going to say, but what I'm actually doing is looking out the window. And I'm allowing myself to focus as far away as I possibly can. So I'm, looking all the way down the street and focusing on the treetops a block away. Now, not everybody has a window. Some people live below ground and some people have to work. Like my husband works in the advertising, and he has a big hood over his monitor, and he has to work in very light conditions that are very the same all day long because he's color matching stuff. So it has to be the same light. And he has the eyes to prove it, unfortunately. So if you're one of those people, then I would just suggest that you go, take a smoke break, but take an eye break instead. Go outside and take the smoke break without the smoke, and just go outside as often as you can and look as far away as you can. Or if you're one of those people that work out on a treadmill or on a bike indoors, at least, if you can do some of your, like, just walk around the block before you get on the treadmill, or just do some work outside, and that will help. You'll thank me when you're old and gray like I am.
Yeah, no, I that's something I've done all through, because I've realized monitors are much better now for your eyes, but they used to be horrendous, and I used to feel like I get headaches and things because just looking. I don't do it so much now. I tend to look around and change my distance, and I used to do exactly what you say. Look at infinity. Look at the clouds. So you're really letting it kind of relax. And that's again why I love surfing, because one, we're always paddling, we're always holding our core up, and we're always looking out on the horizon. So you've got those things. So for me, it's like when I come back, I feel really refreshed because I've got all that movement, and not just mentally being in the sea, but also like all the eyes and physically as well. And it seems to have all those things in it, which is good.
And you have cold water exposure too, which is also very good for the body.
Oh, yes, cold. It's cold.
Yeah. So then the last exercise, I just take 30 seconds to teach you. It's so it kind of goes along with, I have to get rid of this, with the head, the ribs position. And so when you bring your ribs down, your head is a little bit forward. And what you're going to do, and of course, if you're looking at a screen, sometimes your head kind of even goes a little further forward. So what you're going to do is, without lifting your chin, just slide your head back as far as you can comfortably. So you're not forcing it through your neck. And that's called a head ramp. So we've got our pelvis upright, our ribs down, our stomach relaxed, and then our chin kind of up and back. Kind of makes a very unattractive double chin. So that's it. yeah, to recap, it's arms, raise your arms overhead as often as you can throughout the day, one or both. You know, you can use your door frame or you can just sit in your chair. Look far away, rotate your trunks every once in a while and take a few breaths and ramp your head and drop your pelvis forward if you can and scoot to the front of your chair so that you're using some core muscles to sit as part of the day.
That's brilliant. That's great.
Good.
We've got some questions coming as well. So
okay.
can I fire some at you?
Yeah, please.
Right. So, yeah, so Tracy has put, she's put, love this. They're loving it, by the way, Carol.
Excellent.
So,
good.
Currently suffering from 3 herniated discs in my neck and 2 impinged nerves. Sitting at my desk kills.
Oh, yeah. So I'm not like I have people who are injured and stuff, but I'm not a physiotherapist, so I can't give medical advice or diagnosis. But try, depending on why those things happened. Like I don't know if they were an injury or if they were part of that overuse, underuse kind of situation where maybe the head is forward. Just trying that chest down, right? So you don't want to be in this position. You want the chest down and the head kind of ramped, but gently. You're not ever pushing yourself to the point where you feel a lot of strain, and see if that makes any difference in relieving some of that pressure. Because sometimes the discs or the herniations are in different places as well.
Yeah, and maybe it's that pressure as well on certain bits. I've had that before, where I find that it's got better there was a time that I was just, all I would do is be sitting like this, just because then it wasn't painful. If I went like this, it was painful. And after a while, it got better for me.
Yeah.
You know?
So micro movements, if you can, like if you're in pain, move. Don't move into the pain, but move in the direction of the pain and stop short of it, and just see if you can do any micro movements. So you can do the head ramp in different positions. You can turn your head and ramp it in different places, and that might give you some alternative movements for the head as you're sitting.
Yeah, because just like sitting at a desk, for such a long period of time, and it is something that, it's definitely a really good subject, Carol, because that's what we're doing. We're creating these courses and things. We're going to be sitting at the desk for a long time, especially
so our clients, right, that are taking all these courses.
Yeah, especially now we got live, with all the lives and things that people are doing. It's just so taking thought of these things is really important, definitely. So I've got another one here. So Sharon's put, so we should all get workers' comp for the position employers don't honour.
That'd be nice.
So she's got another one that says, I have an ache in my joints for typing. So my shoulders aches and my ribs ache, sore for prolonged sitting. So she's got rib ache. I've never had that. I've never had rib ache.
Well, there's muscles between your ribs, of course. And I spoke a little bit earlier about your breathing parts. So because I'm a movement educator, I'm not necessarily looking at, and not a physiotherapist, I'm not necessarily looking at how you're breathing as much as how you're moving or not. And if you can identify the breathing parts, then what parts are you using and what parts aren't you using? Because you probably have that overuse, underuse situation going on in your breathing mechanics as well. And when you're sitting for a long period of time, regardless of how that sitting is going to put more length in some muscles and shortness in others. So that becomes, and of course your ribs also have joints in the back where they meet the spine. So they should be moving, the ribs should be moving when you breathe. So most of us breathe very shallowly when we're sitting, doing basically the most movement we're doing is this. So we don't really need to breathe deeply. And breathing like abdominal work should be something that is elicited because of our the task at hand. So if you're sitting at a computer, you're not going to be breathing the way you are if you're paddling like mad into, waves of the ocean. So your breathing mechanics, you could sit and do some deep breaths, but that, again, it's kind of out of context. So I like this rotation breathing because it twists up your breathing parts, some of them, particularly the abdomen, the abdominal wall, and it forces a little bit more movement into the rib cage, so that there's more movement of the rib joints and more movement of the muscles between each rib. So you're essentially expanding that from the inside to create movement of your rib cage. And if you wind up your abdomen, then you're not belly breathing.
Yeah. Brilliant. That's fantastic. Because I sometimes get in my hands. I've got to be really careful because I've got ergonomic stuff, and the thing is with ergonomic stuff, it's just like you said, it's made so that you just stay in that position, which is not a very good thing. And I think RSI can develop from that because I'm making very small changes with the mouse. So what I do is I swap. I've got several different, you can't see it here, but I've actually got three different mouse that I use. And I jump between them because my hand is in a different position on each mouse. And I found that really helps me because I'm not stuck just using the one mouse all the time. And even my keyboard, I take my keyboard and I've got my screen actually goes down because I can draw on my screen.
Oh, nice.
And I even with my keyboard, I prop it up against the things. And sometimes I have it on the keyboard like this, and then I'll lower it down. And it's just so it changes that position of that.
Right. What you're describing is that, again, your discomfort is eliciting more movement. And the way you do that is by changing all the time instead of keeping it the one way that is supposed to be, the best way. So the more alternatives you have, the better. And I mentioned at the beginning that I don't usually use a chair for these things. It's because I sit on the floor even when I'm doing computer work, because that is inherently uncomfortable. And if you have to sit in an uncomfortable position, it's going to shift you into different positions more often. So not everybody has the ability to sit on the floor, believe it or not. We kind of assume that we do because we all did that as children, but that's another thing that you kind of loses the range of motion in your hips, knees and ankles and spine to be able to sit on the floor. So when I have clients who want to try that, I will usually put them up on some folded blankets or cushions or bolsters or something so that they can get a little lower than their chair. So one of the things you can do if you still need to be at a desk is to change the height of your chair every so often, so that because that's going to change the position of your arms, but also your hips, knees, and ankles. So the more fussing and fidgeting you can do, the better, essentially.
So we got to all mix it up, and I suppose that's like everything, isn't it? If you do the same thing, it's like if you eat the same food every single day.
Right.
Like nuts, for instance. Lots of people
get even if it was an
intolerancy.
excellent food, you wouldn't meet your dietary requirements. So you need you need variety.
You become allergic to it, or so it's I always think that it's like moderation. It's like when you're eating things like colors. I just go for as many different colors as I can. Obviously it goes together, but I just look for different colors on my plate. If it looks all beige, it's not good for you, is it?
Right. Yeah. You want variety, and you want to have a colorful life.
Yeah. That's brilliant. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks for having
we're
me.
probably going to have quite a few more questions come in because a lot of people watch this on the replay as well.
Oh, okay. Well, they can tag me, and I'll I'm on Facebook. If they tag me, I'll do my best to answer them.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. Thank you. No, it's been excellent. Thank you for giving us some of your time on this amazing subject.
Oh, good. It was a pleasure.
Yeah. So so on your site, have you brought any courses out specifically with our course creators in mind, or?
No, I should do that. I started the courses for the clients I already have, basically. So they're more, they're kind of more movement class based courses. There's one that's a walking that might be good for some people might be interested in. It's not too expensive to begin with. It's just, I think there's 4 or 5 classes of that are all based on principles of walking. So, you know, again, we think of walking as going from point A to point B, but most of us are taking our chair body to the walk. So we may not be walking, just as we aren't really raising our arms overhead when we think we are, we may not be walking in the ways that we think we are. So that's a really good one because it will start to balance out some of those forces that come from sitting, some of those adaptations.
This is great. You see, it's like things like this happen, and you're like, it can change what you're doing with stuff, because I can see this sort of thing with the experience that you've got, turning this into some sort of course for course creators. So we had the same thing happened with a charisma coach who realized there was a massive demand for people to be better on camera. So he would normally teach people how to public speak, but now he's doing stuff for online course creators. So it's funny how these things come out. I mean, you'll be thinking about this tonight. Like, how can I put something together that will be for all our people, you know?
Yeah, no, it's a good idea. I should definitely get on that.
Brilliant. But thank you so much for helping us out there. That's really good. And I'm sure people will message you on the group. I've put your link on there to your page so they can all see. And yeah, really good to meet you, Carol.
Yeah, thanks, David.
That's all right.
Okay.
Say bye to the cats as well.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. So lovely. There we go. So that's 3 instructors today, all different things. And I think that one was really, really, really important, because I'm always getting jittery on my chair, and especially if you do these long lives. And I think it's something to definitely bear in mind, you know, especially if you're getting a bit older, and these kind of things can make a big difference. So it's like with the charisma coach, you know, Howard, I do all my voice warming up and things like that. I don't always stick to them, but if I do it, then it helps me, and I'll start to try and get into moving. Like I said, I try and move away from the chair as much as I can, but like these long sessions, it really makes a difference. That's why I have breaks, because I go around and I need to stretch. I'm not going to sit here for like 3 hours plus live, because you'll just damage your body, and that's not good. It's not long term, it's not good for you. So I think that was brilliant. I really love that one, Carol, and I can see you guys liked it as well. Obviously, Carol will look on the Facebook post if you want to tag her in, or you want to go and ask her any questions. And it's amazing how many people have got kind of back problems and things. And sometimes it's really nice. And that's a good thing about like us, our Zenler group, because we have people that are, you know, experts in so many different areas, and they're giving us all this little information for free. Also, you get a chance to see what they're like as people as well. So you might go, that's a lovely person. Carol's lovely. I'm going to go and take a course with her or whatever. So we hope to have more people on Day with Zen, and more of you instructors sharing your information. You know, it can be on anything, you know. If you think it's going to help people, then that's what we want. So it's now 4:45. So if there's any more questions, I've got nothing else to sort of go through without getting into an elaborate like hour session or something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap up. If there's no more questions in here, I'm going to actually wrap up sort of 15 minutes early, and I don't think there are any. And this is the last one of the year, so we're wrapping this up. We've had a good day today. You had Amit on there, I had Liz, and we've had Carol, all doing different things. I've done my bit as well. In January, we're going to have more. Now, I did say to you that on the Day with Zenler, we might have people from Google and Zapier. That's still going about. It's just a bit too close to Christmas to get them to come onto this live. So I'm setting things up. So we're going to have some industry experts from their respective platforms on Day with Zenler, plus with you guys as well. So it's going to be super exciting. When I do get those people in, I'm going to do a mail shot to all of you guys that are on the NZ Masterclass bundle, because that's one that you'll want to be on, You know, you want to be asking these people from Google, Zapier, or, you know, wherever else they come from. So I'll actually do a mail shot to you guys about it. So I can't see any more questions in on the chat. So I'm going to say that's a wrap for a day with Zenler. So we're coming back the end of January. Kevin's going to join us, and we'll have Alice on as well. Rakesh will probably be on talking about all the new year. Maybe we should do a special one for start of 2022. We do have office hours. It'll be our last one before Christmas. So it's a Christmas special office hours on Wednesday. And I think Alice is on that one as well. I think it's 5 p.m. So that's going to be a really good one. It's going to be a Christmas special to end the year. Again, guys, you guys that are watching this, thank you so much for your support, and all the people that attended today. That's Liz, Amit, and Carol there. And thank you so much for helping us out and contributing your skills. And Judy was supposed to be on Get Well soon, but I'm going to end this now, and I'll see you on Wednesday, where it'll be the kind of last live before Christmas. So take care, guys, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.